Captain Olivia Wright yawned as she stared at the control panel of the Pathfinder. Another quiet day patrolling the outer edges of Neptune's orbit. The year 2157 had been peaceful so far. Humanity had spread throughout the solar system with colonies on Mars, Europa, and Titan. The United Earth Navy kept watch over it all. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange," said Lieutenant Ben Carter, his eyes fixed on the sensor display. "It's like space is folding in on itself." Olivia stood up, suddenly alert. "Show me." The main screen flickered to life, showing a section of space where the stars seemed to bend and twist. A moment later, a massive ship emerged from nowhere. It was at least 20 times larger than the Pathfinder, shaped like a giant arrowhead with glowing purple engines. "Battle stations," Olivia ordered calmly. "But no aggressive moves. Open all communication channels." The crew moved quickly, but nobody panicked. They had trained for first contact, though none had expected it would actually happen. "We're being scanned," reported Officer Steve Jackson from the tactical station. "Their energy readings are off the charts, Captain." Olivia nodded. "Keep broadcasting welcome messages on all frequencies, and make sure we're recording everything and sending it back to Earth." The main screen suddenly changed to show an alien face. The creature had blue-gray skin, 4 yellow eyes, and what looked like bunny plates instead of hair. When it spoke, the ship's computer attempted to translate. "Primitive vessels of the unregistered world. I am Admiral Kraz Tur of the Zolaxian Empire, rulers of 300 star systems. Your species will submit to imperial rule immediately or face extinction. You have one of your planetary rotations to surrender your governing authorities to us." Olivia maintained her composure despite the threat. Years of military training had prepared her for crisis situations. "Admiral Kraz Tur, I am Captain Olivia Wright of the United Earth Navy. We welcome peaceful contact with your civilization, but we do not surrender to threats. Perhaps we could discuss." The alien cut her off. "There is nothing to discuss. The Empire does not negotiate with pre-space civilizations. Your technological inferiority is obvious. Surrender or be destroyed." "With respect, Admiral, we may be less advanced than your people, but we are a space-faring civilization. We've colonized multiple worlds in our system." The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. "You haven't even left your home system. You are children playing with toys. The Emperor will be amused by your defiance. Briefly, before your extinction." Olivia kept her voice steady. "We request time to consult with our leadership. This is our first contact with an alien civilization. Surely you can understand our need to process this information." The alien seemed to consider this. "Very well. You have 3 of your Earth weeks. The pacification fleet will arrive then to receive your surrender." The screen went dark. As soon as the transmission ended, Olivia turned to her communications officer. "Did we get all that back to Earth?" "Yes, Captain. Direct feed to UNSC headquarters." "Good. Now get me a direct line to the Secretary General. We need to prepare." Back on Earth, the message from the Pathfinder caused immediate global alarm. Emergency sessions of the United Nations Security Council convened within hours. Defense Secretary Samantha Jones called an all-hands meeting of Earth's top military officers and scientists. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said gravely, "we have 3 weeks to prepare for what may be the most important moment in human history. Either we find a way to negotiate with these Zolaxians, or we prepare to defend ourselves against technology far beyond our own." Dr. Alan Pierce, Earth's leading physicist, studied the scans from the Pathfinder. "Their ship uses some kind of space-folding technology we've only theorized about. But there's something in their energy signatures that looks familiar. I think we might be able to understand some of their technology if we work fast enough." Secretary Jones nodded. "Then we work fast. Humanity isn't going down without a fight." Across Earth, Mars, and the other colonies, people watched the news with a mix of fear and determination. Humanity had just learned they weren't alone in the universe, and their first neighbors weren't friendly. But if there was one thing humans had learned through their long, often violent history, it was how to face threats and survive against the odds. The clock was ticking. 3 weeks to prepare for the arrival of an empire that spanned the stars. 3 weeks passed quickly. On Earth, humans worked day and night to prepare for the coming threat. Scientists studied the data from the alien ship. Military leaders from all nations met to form a united defense plan. Admiral Kraz Tur stood on the bridge of his command ship, looking at the 20 warships of his fleet. These ships had conquered dozens of worlds before. He felt only boredom at the thought of adding another primitive planet to the empire. "Admiral, we will reach the Earth system in 6 hours," said his second-in-command. "Good. Prepare the standard intimidation display when we arrive. These humans will surrender quickly once they see our true power." Back on Earth, Dr. Alan Pierce hadn't slept in days. His lab was filled with computer models of Zolaxian technology based on the Pathfinder scans. "I think I've found something," he told Defense Secretary Jones. "Their shields operate on a frequency we can disrupt with modified nuclear weapons." "Will it work?" she asked. "Maybe, for a few seconds at most. But a few seconds might be all we need." Secretary Jones nodded. "It's more than we had yesterday. Get the modifications to our missile teams immediately." The Zolaxian fleet appeared near Earth's moon. Their massive ships dwarfed the largest human vessels. Admiral Kraz Tur opened a channel to Earth. "Humans, your time is up. Surrender now and only 10% of your population will be relocated to work planets. Resist, and we will turn your cities to ash." From her office at UN headquarters, Secretary Jones responded, "We cannot accept those terms, Admiral. Humanity wishes to join the galactic community as equals, not slaves." The Admiral laughed. "Equals? You are children playing with toys. Your ships are primitive. Your weapons are useless against us." "Perhaps," Secretary Jones replied, "but we would rather die free than live as slaves." Kraz Tur cut the transmission. "Begin the attack. Target their largest military bases first." The Zolaxian ships moved toward Earth, their weapons charged, ready to devastate the planet below. Captain Olivia Wright now commanded a small fleet of Earth's best ships. "All vessels, execute Plan Desperate Hope. Remember your training and remember what we're fighting for." Earth's defenses sprang to life. Hundreds of missiles launched from hidden silos on Earth, the Moon, and Mars. The Zolaxians watched with amusement. "They fire primitive nuclear weapons at us," laughed Kraz Tur. "Our shields will easily." He never finished his sentence. The missiles, modified with Dr. Pierce's discovery, hit the Zolaxian shields. Instead of being stopped, they created strange energy patterns that caused the shields to flicker and fail for a few precious seconds. In those seconds, more advanced weapons fired from Earth's ships. Weapons that humanity had developed in secret, hoping they would never be needed. The lead Zolaxian ship shuddered as multiple hits penetrated its suddenly vulnerable hull. "Impossible," shouted Kraz Tur as his bridge filled with warning lights. "Their technology is too primitive to harm us." But the damage was done. 3 Zolaxian ships exploded as their power cores went critical. Earth forces suffered heavy losses too, but they fought with a determination that shocked the invaders. Captain Wright's ship took a direct hit. "Reroute power to weapons. Keep firing until we can't fire anymore." The battle raged for hours. Cities burned on Earth as some Zolaxian weapons got through. Millions died, but humanity refused to surrender. One by one, the mighty Zolaxian ships fell. Their commanders couldn't understand how these primitives were defeating their superior technology. They had never faced an enemy who kept fighting when victory seemed impossible. When 18 of his 20 ships were destroyed, Admiral Kraz Tur made a decision that no Zolaxian commander had made in centuries. "Retreat," he ordered. "Send a scout ship back to the Empire. The Emperor must know these humans are not like other species we have conquered." As the remaining Zolaxian ships fled, cheers erupted across Earth's military channels. They had won, though at terrible cost. Entire cities were destroyed. The moon base was gone, but Earth remained free. In his damaged ship, Admiral Kraz-Tur looked at the blue planet behind him with new respect and fear. What kind of species are these humans? He wondered. The Emperor would not be pleased to hear of this defeat. On Earth, as people emerged from shelters to see the devastation, Secretary Jones addressed the survivors. We have won the first battle, but the war has just begun. The Empire will return, and we must be ready. 6 months passed since the failed invasion. On the Zolaxian homeworld, Emperor Zolvax sat on his crystal throne. His 4 yellow eyes narrowed in anger. You mean to tell me that 20 of our finest warships were defeated by a species that has not even left their own star system? The Emperor's voice was dangerously quiet. Admiral Kraz-Tur knelt before his ruler, head bowed. Yes, Emperor. The humans used unexpected tactics. They found a way to temporarily disrupt our shields. Impossible. Our technology is too advanced. The Emperor smashed his fist on the arm of his throne. In the back of the Grand Hall, scientist Vilera listened carefully. After the meeting, she went to her lab and pulled up all the data on humans that had been collected. Something about these creatures fascinated her. Computer, show me human history, she said. Hours turned into days as Vilera studied Earth's past. What she found disturbed her deeply. Unlike most species encountered by the Empire, humans had spent their entire history fighting each other, war after war. They had nearly destroyed themselves multiple times, yet always survived. These creatures, she muttered, they expect conflict. They planned for it. She prepared a report for the Imperial Council. Meanwhile on Earth, recovery and preparation continued. Dr. Greg Martinez, now head of the newly formed Extraterrestrial Defense Initiative, worked with international teams to study the wrecked Zolaxian ships. Their technology is amazing, he told his team as they examined alien metal that was lighter yet stronger than anything on Earth. But they build everything like it will never fail. No backups, no manual overrides. They're so confident in their superiority that they never plan for failure. In the rebuilt UN headquarters, military leaders from around the world met daily. They knew the Zolaxians would return, likely with a much larger force. We need to be smarter this time, said General Olivia Wright, promoted after the battle. We won't survive another direct confrontation. On the far side of the moon, hidden from Earth and alien eyes, humanity's first true interstellar ship was under construction. Built with reverse-engineered Zolaxian technology, the Horizon would be humanity's eyes and ears beyond the solar system. Back in the Empire, Vilera presented her findings to the Imperial Council. Members of the Council, I have studied human history extensively. These creatures are unlike any we have encountered before. She showed images of Earth's wars, technological development, and rapid adaptation. They have spent thousands of years fighting among themselves. Their entire culture expects and prepares for conflict. High Counselor Drezkor laughed. And this makes them dangerous. Their technology is still primitive. Their technology advances faster than any species we have studied, Vilera replied. And more importantly, they expect to face superior forces. Their strategy and tactics are built around overcoming stronger enemies. What are you suggesting? Asked another council member. I am suggesting that conventional military action may not work against humans. They think differently than we do. They expect adversity and adapt to it with remarkable speed. The council dismissed her concerns. Prepare the invasion fleet, ordered the High Counselor. 500 warships should be sufficient to crush this human resistance. As Vilera left the council chamber, she felt a sense of dread. The Empire had never failed to conquer a world, but these humans were different. They did not think like other species. On Earth, the first test of the Horizon's engines lit up the dark side of the moon with blue fire. Captain Sam Rodriguez watched from the control room. Engine test successful, reported his engineer. We'll be ready for our first journey in 2 months. Good, said the captain. We need to know what we're up against. The Zalaxians will come back, and next time they won't underestimate us. In orbit around Mars, defense platforms were under construction. On Europa, deep bunkers were being built into the ice. Humanity was spreading out, making sure that no single attack could end their species. The clock was ticking. Both sides were preparing. The real war was about to begin. 1 year after first contact, the Zalaxian invasion fleet approached Earth. 500 warships, each larger and more powerful than those in the first attack. Fleet Commander Zerthal stood on the bridge of his flagship, confident in victory. "These humans will learn their place today," he told his officers. "No primitive species can stand against the full might of the Empire." But as the fleet entered the solar system, strange things began to happen. Their sensors detected thousands of satellites around Earth, Mars, and even the outer planets. Each one broadcast different signals, making it impossible to tell which were weapons and which were decoys. "Sir, we're receiving contradictory readings," reported the sensor officer. "There appear to be massive bases on Mars, but also signs they might be fake." Zerthal frowned. "It doesn't matter. Destroy everything to be safe." On Earth, Lieutenant Frank Miller sat in a hidden command center deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. His team monitored the approaching fleet. "They've entered the outer system, General," he reported to General Wright. "Operation Confusion is working. Their fleet is spreading out to investigate all our decoys." General Wright nodded. "Good. Keep broadcasting the fake communications. Make them chase ghosts." Miller's team had spent months studying Zalaxian communication methods. They discovered that the aliens had a strict chain of command. No lower officer would ever question a superior. This made them vulnerable to fake orders and misinformation. "Sending false command signals now," said Miller. His team broadcast messages that appeared to come from Zalaxian commanders, sending ships on wild goose chases throughout the solar system. In deep space, the Horizon had returned from its secret mission. Captain Rodriguez brought critical information. "The Zalaxians have never faced rebellion or civil war," he told Earth's leaders. "Their society is built on absolute obedience. They don't know how to handle confusion in their ranks." This insight formed the core of Earth's defense plan. Instead of fighting the superior Zalaxian fleet directly, they would attack their command structure. As the invasion began, the Zalaxians found themselves in chaos. Ships received conflicting orders. Some commanders saw fake human fleets and diverted to attack them, only to find empty space. "What is happening?" demanded Zerthal as reports of confusion came in from all directions. "These are simple tricks. Ignore them and attack the main human cities." But the damage was done. The perfect formation of the Imperial fleet had fallen apart. Ships were scattered across the solar system, chasing phantoms. From a hidden base on Titan, Admiral Laura Daniels led Earth's real fleet. Just 30 ships, small and quick, attacking Zalaxian vessels when they were isolated, then disappearing before reinforcements arrived. "Target their communication arrays first," she ordered during each attack. "Then engines. We don't need to destroy them, just disable them." The Zalaxians had never faced this kind of warfare. They expected enemies to either surrender or fight head-on. These hit-and-run tactics confused and frustrated them. After 3 days of chaos, Zerthal faced a difficult decision. Half his fleet was damaged or disabled, scattered across the solar system. The humans seemed to be everywhere and nowhere. "Regroup at Jupiter," he ordered the remaining ships. "We will gather our forces and strike together." But this was exactly what Earth's leaders had predicted. As the Zalaxian ships gathered near Jupiter, they faced the full force of humanity's defenses. Hidden bases on Jupiter's moons launched waves of missiles. The Horizon, now armed with weapons reverse-engineered from Zalaxian technology, struck from behind. Zerthal watched in horror as his fleet was caught in the trap. "Retreat," he finally ordered. "Return to Imperial space immediately." As the surviving Zalaxian ships fled, cheers erupted across Earth and its colonies. They had defeated a force that should have easily crushed them. In her lab on the Zolaxian homeworld, Lara received the news of the second defeat. She wasn't surprised. The Empire had once again underestimated human ingenuity and adaptability. "They don't understand," she whispered. "Humans don't play by our rules." News of the second failed invasion spread quickly through the Zolaxian Empire. For the first time in 10,000 years, Imperial forces had failed to conquer a target world. Twice. Emperor Zolvax faced growing unrest. His 4 eyes glowed with anger as he addressed the Imperial Council. "This human problem must be solved," he hissed. "How can a single primitive planet resist the might of our empire?" High Counselor Drezkor spoke carefully. "Emperor, perhaps we have underestimated these humans. They fight unlike any species we have encountered." "Excuses." The Emperor's fist crashed down. "I want solutions, not excuses. The longer this small planet defies us, the more our other subject worlds will question our power." The Emperor's fears were justified. Already, reports came from dozens of worlds under Imperial rule. People whispered about Earth, about humans who dared to fight back against their masters and won. On the desert world of Krell, governed by the Empire for 2,000 years, locals painted human symbols on walls at night. On the ocean planet Aqualis, songs about Earth's resistance spread among the enslaved population. Meanwhile, Earth continued to strengthen its defenses. The success against 2 invasion attempts gave humanity confidence, but General Paul Wilson warned against overconfidence. "The next attack will be worse," he told the United Earth Council. "The Empire cannot afford to lose again. They will come with everything they have." Commander Nancy Rivera prepared for her mission aboard the improved Horizon Aya. Earth's leaders had made a bold decision. Rather than wait for the next attack, they would seek allies among other species ruled by the Empire. "Your mission is diplomatic, not military," General Wilson told Rivera. "Find worlds that might help us. The Empire has enemies. We need to find them." The Horizon Aya departed secretly, using the space-folding technology humans had copied from Zolaxian ships. For the first time, a human vessel would travel beyond the solar system. 2 months later, the Horizon Aya returned with surprising news. Commander Rivera stood before Earth's leaders, her face serious but hopeful. "Earth has become a symbol across the galaxy," she reported. "Species that have lived under Imperial rule for thousands of years see us as proof that the Zolaxians can be defeated." She showed images from 12 different worlds where resistance movements had begun. "They call us the Defiant Ones." Stories about Earth spread through underground networks. Some are true. Others make us sound like giants who can destroy Imperial ships with our bare hands. "Did you make contact with any potential allies?" asked President Linda Chen. "Yes. The Arthosians have secretly built warships in hidden shipyards. The Medusan Collective has advanced shield technology they're willing to share, and the Volcrin have been gathering intelligence on Imperial fleet movements for centuries." Earth's leaders looked at each other with new hope. They were not alone in the galaxy. On the Zolaxian homeworld, scientist Lara received a visitor in her lab. A hooded figure slipped inside after hours. "Are you the one who understands humans?" asked the stranger, revealing herself as Princess Karavex, the Emperor's daughter. "I study them, yes," Lara replied cautiously. "Tell me about them." "Father refuses to listen to reason. He plans to commit 1/3 of our entire fleet to destroy Earth. This obsession weakens us against our real rivals, the Dorn hegemony." Lara showed the princess her research. Humans are unique. Their history of constant warfare among themselves has made them masters of adaptation. They expect to face stronger enemies and develop strategies accordingly. "Can they be reasoned with? Is peace possible?" asked the princess. "I believe so. Their historical records show they prefer peace when given the chance, but they will never accept subjugation." The princess nodded slowly. "My father will never agree to peace while he rules. His pride won't allow it." Then the Empire faces a dangerous future. Villara said, because these humans will not give up. And now, they're making allies. Across the galaxy, the balance of power was shifting. Earth, once an insignificant blue planet, had become the center of a growing storm. The joke was spreading. How many Zalaxian warships does it take to defeat a primitive planet? No one knows. They still haven't managed it. 3 years after first contact, the Zalaxian Empire gathered its forces for a final assault on Earth. Emperor Zolvax called his full war council to the throne room. "I will end this human problem once and for all," he declared. "1/3 of our entire fleet will crush this rebellion." 5,000 warships began to assemble near the Imperial homeworld. It was the largest military force ever gathered in the history of the Empire. Enough firepower to destroy multiple star systems. Admiral Draz Khan, the Empire's most decorated commander, was given leadership of the massive armada. "The humans have been lucky twice," he told his officers. "Luck always runs out. We will not underestimate them again." On Earth, humanity had made incredible technological progress. Reverse-engineered Zalaxian technology, combined with human innovation, had produced shields, weapons, and engines that narrowed the gap between the species. But Earth's leaders knew they still couldn't win a direct fight against such overwhelming numbers. "We need something unexpected," said President Linda Chen during an emergency meeting. "Something they won't see coming." Dr. Susan Clark, a brilliant computer programmer, presented her idea. "I studied Zalaxian computer systems from their damaged ships. Their technology is advanced, but their security is weak. They've never needed strong defenses against cyber attacks because no one in the Empire would dare hack Imperial systems." "What are you suggesting?" asked General Wilson. Dr. Clark smiled. "A virus, one that can spread through their fleet and disable their weapons at the critical moment." The plan was daring, perhaps impossible, but humanity had no choice. They called it Plan Odysseus, named after the ancient Greek hero who defeated a superior enemy through cunning rather than strength. Admiral Kevin Harris volunteered to lead the mission. His ship, the Defiant, was upgraded with the best stealth technology Earth had developed. "We'll take a small team into Imperial space," he explained. "While they focus on gathering their invasion fleet, we'll infiltrate their communication network and plant Dr. Clark's virus." It was a suicide mission, but hundreds of officers volunteered. Earth's fate might depend on their success. The Defiant departed Earth using space-folding technology, appearing deep within Imperial territory. For 2 weeks, they moved carefully from system to system, avoiding detection. Finally, they reached a key communication hub on an outer Imperial world. A small team led by Lieutenant Judy Foster landed on the planet's surface. "The main control center is 2 miles north," she told her team. "Remember, we can't be detected. If they catch us, the whole plan fails." The team moved silently through alien terrain. When they reached the facility, Lieutenant Foster used stolen Imperial codes to gain entry. They found the central computer room unguarded. The Zalaxians never expected anyone would dare infiltrate their systems. "Beginning upload," whispered Foster as she connected Dr. Clark's virus to the Imperial network. 10 minutes until complete. But with just 2 minutes remaining, alarms blared throughout the facility. "We've been detected," shouted one of her team members. "Keep uploading," ordered Foster. "We need to finish this." They barricaded the doors as Imperial guards tried to break in. The upload reached 95% when the first door gave way. "Upload complete," Foster shouted as she grabbed the equipment. "Fall back to the extraction point." The team fought their way out, but only half made it back to the Defiant. As they escaped to orbit, 10 Imperial warships appeared behind them. "They're locking weapons," reported the sensor officer. Admiral Harris made a desperate decision. "Transmit the virus activation signal to their ships." The nearest Imperial vessel received the signal. Suddenly, its weapons powered down. Then its engines. The other pursuing ships suffered the same fate. "It's working," shouted Harris. "The virus is spreading ship to ship through their communication systems." But before the Defiant could escape, a final missile struck their engines. The ship tumbled through space, severely damaged. "Can we make it home?" Harris asked his engineer. "No, sir, but we can send a message to Earth. They need to know the virus was successfully deployed." As Imperial reinforcements approached, Admiral Harris sent his final transmission. "Odysseus successful. Prepare for their arrival. Give them hell." On Earth, the message brought both hope and sorrow. The brave crew of the Defiant had sacrificed themselves, but they had given humanity a fighting chance against the coming storm. The massive Imperial armada arrived at the edge of the solar system. 5,000 warships, each carrying enough firepower to level a city. Fleet Admiral Drazkan stood on the bridge of his command ship, his expression stern. "Begin the attack," he ordered. "No mercy for these humans who have defied the Empire." On Earth, President Lisa Morgan addressed the United Nations. Her face showed determination, not fear. "Today we fight not just for Earth, but to show the galaxy that freedom cannot be crushed by tyranny, no matter how powerful it seems," she said. "Every human, whether on Earth, Mars, or our other colonies, stands together." Earth's combined fleet moved to intercept the invaders. Just 300 ships against thousands. The odds seemed impossible. General John Russell commanded from the flagship Defiance. "All ships, maintain formation. Remember your training and trust the plan." The Zalaxian fleet approached in perfect order, their massive ships dwarfing the human vessels. Admiral Drazkan watched with satisfaction. "Look at their pathetic defense," he told his officers. "Today the Empire ends this embarrassment." The battle began with a devastating first strike from the Imperial fleet. Energy weapons tore through space, destroying dozens of human ships instantly. Earth's defenses around Mars crumbled under the assault. "Keep fighting," ordered General Russell as his ship shook from a near miss. "We just need to hold out a little longer." Hour after hour, the battle raged across the solar system. Earth's forces were pushed back everywhere. The first wave of human ships was almost completely destroyed. Colonies on the outer planets fell silent as Imperial forces overwhelmed them. Admiral Drazkan allowed himself a small smile. "The battle goes exactly as planned. Begin the final approach to Earth." But then, something strange happened. A Zalaxian ship in the third attack wave suddenly powered down its weapons. Then another. Then 10 more. "What is happening?" demanded Drazkan. On his control panel, warning lights began flashing. Communications between ships became garbled. Weapon systems reported failures across the fleet. "Sir, our systems are being attacked from within," reported his technology officer. "Some kind of computer virus is spreading through the fleet." Drazkan realized the truth too late. "It's a trap. The humans let us deep into their system to activate their weapon." Dr. Susan Clark's virus, planted by the crew of the Defiant, had waited quietly in the Imperial network until now. It spread from ship to ship, using the Zalaxians' own communication systems against them. "All ships switch to emergency backup systems," ordered Drazkan. But the Empire, so confident in its technology, had few manual backups. They had never needed them before. As nearly half the Imperial fleet drifted with disabled weapons and failing shields, Earth launched its counterattack. The remaining human forces, led by General Russell, executed a precisely planned assault, targeting specific vulnerabilities in the now compromised Zalaxian ships. From hidden bases on Jupiter's moons and in the asteroid belt, additional human ships appeared, joining the fight with weapons reverse-engineered from Zalaxian technology. Admiral Drazkan watched in horror as his perfect formation dissolved into chaos. Ship after ship reported failures or came under concentrated attack from the suddenly coordinated human forces. "Retreat to safe distance and regroup," he ordered. But as his command was given, his flagship's engines failed, another victim of the spreading virus. The pride of the Imperial fleet, surrounded by human ships, could no longer escape. For the first time in Imperial history, A fleet admiral faced capture by an inferior species. General Russell's voice came through on an open channel. Admiral Drazcon, this is General John Russell of the United Earth Forces. Your ship is disabled and surrounded. Do you surrender? In that moment, Drazcon knew the Empire had made a fatal error. They had dismissed these humans as primitive, but had failed to understand their true strength: adaptability, ingenuity, and a relentless will to survive. I surrender, he said finally, his voice heavy with shock. Across the solar system, the battle slowly turned. Without central command, the Imperial forces fell into disarray. Some ships retreated. Others fought on but were defeated one by one. Earth had suffered terrible losses, but against all odds, humanity had prevailed against the greatest military force in the galaxy. 6 months after the Great Battle, the Zalaxian Empire was falling apart. News of their defeat spread across the galaxy. 17 worlds had already declared independence. The Imperial Council removed Emperor Zolvax from power, blaming him for the disaster. On Earth, Admiral Drazcon sat in a comfortable room that was his prison. He stared out the window at the blue sky, still trying to understand how his mighty fleet had been defeated. General Maria Scott entered the room. She had been assigned to learn what she could from the captured admiral. Still wondering how it happened, she asked. Drazcon turned to her. You should never have been able to defeat us. By any logical measure, we were superior in every way. That was your first mistake, she replied. Assuming that superior technology means superior strategy. Humans have been fighting against overwhelming odds throughout our history. But how did you know our weaknesses? How did you predict our tactics? Because you had no weaknesses in your technology, but many in your thinking. You never considered failure possible, so you never planned for it. The Admiral nodded slowly. The Empire has conquered for 10,000 years without defeat. We forgot what it means to struggle, to adapt. Across the solar system, humanity rebuilt. The victory had been costly. Millions had died. Parts of Mars were uninhabitable. But Earth survived, and humans were now spreading farther into space. Dr. Greg Martins led the team studying captured Imperial technology. We've learned more in 6 months than we would have discovered in a century on our own, he told President Morgan. Earth's first diplomatic missions traveled to other star systems. Commander Nancy Rivera returned from her latest journey with exciting news. 17 more worlds want to join our alliance, she reported. They see Earth as a leader, a protector against remaining Imperial forces. The Alliance of Free Species was formed, with Earth taking a leadership role despite its relatively simple technology. What humans lacked in advanced science, they made up for in strategy and adaptability. Princess Karavex, now leading the reformed Zalaxian government, sent a message to Earth requesting peace talks. The long war was finally ending. In the United Nations building in New York, Ambassador Ryan Cooper welcomed representatives from 20 alien species. The room buzzed with different languages as translation devices helped everyone communicate. Friends from across the stars, Cooper began. A year ago, most of us didn't know the others existed. The Empire kept us isolated, afraid, and controlled. Today, we stand together as equals. The ambassador from the Arthosian Republic, a tall being with 4 arms, spoke next. The greatest joke in galactic history is that by challenging the one species too stubborn to know when they were beaten, the mighty Zalaxian Empire wrote its own ending. Laughter filled the room. Beings of all shapes and sizes united in the shared humor of the Empire's downfall. Far from Earth, on a distant trading world, a Zalaxian merchant complained to a local bar owner about lost business. Everything was fine until those humans showed up, he grumbled. A nearby trader from the insect-like Vespid species clicked his mandibles in amusement. Did you hear the new joke? How many Imperial warships does it take to conquer Earth? How many? Asked the bar owner. No one knows yet. They still haven't sent enough. The bar erupted in laughter. Back on Earth, General Scott walked with Admiral Drazcon in a garden near his comfortable detention facility. "Your people will be remembered in our history," the Admiral said quietly. "No species has ever done what humans did." "And what was that?" asked Scott. "Changed the course of the galaxy through sheer stubbornness." There was newfound respect in his voice. As the sun set over Earth, ships from a dozen worlds orbited above. Trade agreements were being signed. Cultural exchanges began. Art and music from distant stars reached human ears for the first time. Humanity had taken its place among the stars, not through conquest like the Empire, but by inspiring others to believe that even the most overwhelming force could be overcome with enough ingenuity, courage, and determination. The joke that began with an empire's arrogance had ended with a new age of freedom across the galaxy.